Okay, so I wanted to make a quick video to answer a really common question, one that someone actually asked me today, and that is, I've just started strength training. How much protein should I be eating? So I'll just quickly go over how you can figure that out for yourself, because everyone's going to have a slightly different answer. So the way that I calculate it for my clients is I do current body weight in kilos, because we're in Europe, times 1.6. So if a client's current body weight is 80 kilos, then their protein, their daily protein intake is then calculated at, let's have a look, 128 grams. So that client should be aiming to get a total of 128 grams of protein every day. Now, of course, it doesn't have to be exact. It can be anywhere between, say, 120, 130. Some days it might be lower, some days it might be higher. So just switching to pounds, so 80 kilos is 176 pounds. And if you want to work out how much protein you're supposed to be having from your weight in pounds, you times it by 0.7. So it's times 1.6 to work out your protein intake from your weight in kilograms, and times 0.7 to work out your protein intake from your weight in pounds. There is one caveat. If you're significantly overweight, it's better to work out your protein intake based on an ideal body weight. So if you currently weigh 100 kilos and your ideal body weight you believe is closer to 80, then it's better to work out your protein intake based on the ideal weight, because when you get to a certain point, and for women that might be somewhere around 130, 150 grams of protein in a day, it just gets too hard to fit that much protein in. And frankly, it's probably not really needed. So once you have that number, the next step is figuring out how many meals per day are you eating, or do you plan to eat? So for most people, the answer is going to be about 3, maybe 4, if you include a snack. And so you take your protein intake, ideal protein intake in grams, and you divide it by the number of meals. So if you have 3 meals a day and you're aiming to get 128 grams, then you're going to be getting approximately 42, 43 grams per meal. If you're having if you're having 4 meals a day, then it's going to be closer to 32 grams per meal. From that point, what you want to be doing is figuring out which meal of the day that you're going to start tackling first. So for most people, I recommend breakfast. So that means don't jump into it and try and get your recommended daily protein intake immediately on day one. Work on one meal at a time. So all you have to do, once you have that number, you've divided it by the number of meals. So let's say the answer comes out at 32 grams, because you're going to have 4 meals in a day. Start with your first meal, breakfast only. So figure out how you are going to get 32 grams of protein in your breakfast. A good way to do that is just look at what you're eating right now. Look at where the protein is coming from and figure out how you can increase that, because I can almost guarantee that you're not eating enough at breakfast. This is extremely common. In fact, I don't think I've had a single client yet who's been eating enough protein at breakfast. So for example, I know most people don't eat steak for breakfast, but you can get 22 grams of protein from a palm-sized piece of steak. This is quite a big piece, but you only need to have a palm-sized piece to get 22 grams of protein. 2 eggs, you will get approximately 12 to 13 grams from 2 eggs. You will get about 10 grams from a couple of slices of cheese, or at least this kind of cheese. You can also get this low-fat, high-protein cheese I don't particularly like it. I find it sort of tastes like rubber, but that has even more protein. And also high protein yogurt. This one has 15 grams of protein per pot. So you can see, for example, if you figure out that currently at breakfast you're eating 2 eggs and a piece of toast. So maybe you are getting 13, 14, 15, maybe somewhere between 15 and 17 grams from 2 eggs and a piece of toast. So you could say, all right, I'm going to add 1 high protein yogurt, and that's going to bring my total up close to 32 grams. So you just start with that one meal, and you practice that for a week, 2 weeks, however long it takes to become a habit, and then start working on the other meals. I never encourage my clients to launch into everything all at once, because that's usually a recipe for disaster. It's better to take it step by step. I mean, this is a process that it's not just for 12 weeks. It's not just for 3 months. It's not just for 6 months. We're trying to set up habits that will last for a lifetime. So it's okay for it to take weeks just to get, say, for example, this one thing, your protein at breakfast right. If you have any questions, please ask in the comments below and I will try to answer them. I hope that was helpful. And if you found this video useful, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Thank you very much for listening.